Good morning. First of all, I would like to thank the organizers for allowing me to present this work today, as well as the attendees for their attention. My name is Leticia Crespillo Mari, and I am a postdoctoral researcher at the University of Malaga, Spain. Together with my colleague Patricia Martins from the Instituto de Historia da Arte of the FCA Nova in Lisbon, we will try to explain the project O Grupo do Leão VR, a haptic immersive proposal to bring art closer to visually impaired people through the use of alternative senses such as touch or audio. This project, which began in 2021 after a pre-doctoral stay in Lisbon, collaborating with the National Museum of Contemporary Art of that city, obtained a seed project financed in competitive concurrence for the development and testing of a first prototype and its experimental implementation in that museum, participating with the association APDV and Locus Accesso.
Had as a priority objective to study and develop a proposal for the implementation of haptic and auditory material for the inclusion of people with visual disabilities in museums based on an innovative approach: photogrammetry, virtual reality, game engines, haptic and auditory technological devices, reflecting on the possibilities offered by virtual reality as a mediating element between the artistic object and the visually impaired public. It is based on the work of photogrammetric digitization and virtual treatment of the painting O Grupo do Leão, 1885, by Columbano Bordalo Pinheiro, already carried out during a previous stay in 2021 of said researcher at the ISHA FCSH Universidade Nova de Lisboa, MNAS. The first test prototype, O Grupo do Leão VR, based on haptic virtual technology, tries to find the most authentic aesthetic encounter possible between the museum object and the blind public, addressing current issues on the possibilities of multimodal interaction offered by these technologies in the framework for the access and participation of these groups in museums and other cultural institutions, exploration and understanding of their collections. This prototype continues to be developed with the aim of improving the experience after interviews with participants from the APDV, Asociação Promotora de Emprego de Deficientes Visuais, and the company Locus Accesso, who provided extensive information essential to the project. Regarding the objectives, we can highlight the following: investigate the applications of 3D computational technologies for the socio-cultural inclusion of visually impaired individuals in the museological context. Reflect on the possibilities that virtual reality offers as a mediating element between the artistic object and the visually impaired audience. Study the impact and benefits that the virtualization of artistic and cultural heritage and its appreciation through accessible tools for visually impaired audiences can bring. Encourage the community of people with disabilities to engage in new cultural experiences through the use of a technological prototype that fosters the most authentic possible aesthetic encounter between the blind viewer and the museum object. Analyze the functionalities of mechanical haptic resources as a means for social and educational inclusion in the museum field, focusing on the painting O Grupo do Leão, 1885, by Columbano Bordalo Pinheiro, a key piece of Portuguese realism. Regarding the methodology, this project introduces new lines of research based on the review of existing literature on the subject and the collection of data related to assistance and inclusion technologies. To this end, educational materials of the painting O Grupo do Leão were created, and content for a series of exploratory sessions was generated in which to identify, represent, and understand the relevant context of this painting, as well as its potential expression to the user with disabilities, enhancing and stimulating creativity and aesthetic plastic abstract thinking, textures, body expression, fine motor skills, manipulation of surfaces. All these sessions prior to the development of the VR prototype helped us to gather auditory information on the elements that would be part of this virtual tool. In the following sessions, tests are carried out with the association APDV, Associação Promotora de Emprego de Deficientes Visuais, and the accessible tour company Locus Accesso Lisboa, and data from interviews with the participants are collected, which help us, at present, to continue improving the features of said prototype. Among the benefits offered by this proposal is the outline of lines of research and training to include this type of 3D computational technologies in the museological context, democratizing access to heritage for blind people. It also seeks to encourage the community of visually impaired people to participate in new cultural experiences through the use of this type of mechanical, haptic, technological prototypes, raising awareness in today's society of the need for access to art for everyone. Among the results, various experiences are obtained that point to an improvement in creative awareness and artistic experience, as well as extensive autonomy and self-expression in relation to the painting. The level of inclusion and exploitation of the prototype is quite good, especially in terms of sensitization regarding the painting and its content. Ultimately, really important information is obtained to continue improving the already designed tool, which will be done during this year, 2023. From the university sphere, we know that the development of R&D and I projects and research can subvert this problem. Exploring and advancing in knowledge is possible through the prism of collaboration between different entities so that inclusion is real and effective.
In fact, much of this intellectual, creative, practical, and disseminative action is understood as a set of actions and reflections involved in the generation of knowledge, and therefore in the development of democratic and inclusive instruments that encourage discovery and adaptation to new contextual circumstances. The questions we must ask ourselves are, what should the new museum be like? How can they face the complexity of the diverse world we live in? What is understood by museum, and how does it influence the lives of people in general? Certainly, there is still a wide gap between what the museum understands for itself and the external society that expects a much more flexible experience. In this context, working with new computational technologies and digital tools that diversify the experience and offer the public a closer relationship adapted to reality represents a natural process towards which the museum institution should be directed with the help of academia. The museum plays an important role in promotion, training, and education without limitations. Research has the ability to amplify relationships between entities, allowing the launch of new approaches and implementing a solid, diverse digital transformation consistent with 21st century society.